Next is the field capacity. Field capacity of a solid waste is the amount of moisture that can be retained in the waste sample subject to the downward pull of gravity. It's a critical importance in determining the formation of leachate in landfills. Leachate means when water flows through the waste, we can we get a slurry form, and that we can term as a leachate in landfills. Field capacity varies with the degree of applied pressure and the state of decomposition of the waste. So you can see the figure as first one is solid waste. When rain water adds to the solid waste, you can see the saturation of the waste under the pull of gravity. So that is field capacity of uncompacted waste from residential and commercial sources is in the range of 50 to 60 percentage. So that is all about the physical characteristics. So once again I can summarize. We have seen the physical characteristics as density, moisture content, particle size and size distribution, and field capacity. Now moving to the chemical characteristics. Just like we have learned the physical characteristics, the chemical characteristics is also important in evaluating the waste in terms of processing and recovery options. So waste is considered as a combination of combustible and non-combustible components. If a solid waste is to be used as a fuel or for any other use, we should know its chemical composition. So first thing is lipids, then you can see carbohydrates, then you can see proteins and natural fibers. So lipids are included in the class of fats, oils and grease. We definitely get the fats and oils and grease from food items or cooking items, right? The principal sources of lipids in the garbage are cooking oil and fats. Then lipids have heating value about 38,000 kilojoule per kilogram. Since lipids becomes liquid at temperature slightly above ambient, they add the liquid content during waste decomposition. They are biodegradable, but they have low solubility in water. Hence, the rate of biodegradation is slow. So, lipid is nothing but fats, oils, and grease. Their sources are the garbage, cooking oils, and fats, and they have high heating values, and they are biodegradable but low solubility in water. Next is the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are originated from the food sources, which are rich in starch and cellulose. They are readily biodegradable into carbon dioxide, water, and methane. The decomposition of carbohydrates attracts the flies and rats and hence should not be left exposed for long duration, which can cause different diseases. So, the primary source of carbohydrates are food sources itself, rich in starch and cellulose. So, they can get degradable to carbon dioxide, water, and methane. Then they attract the flies and other sorts of rats, which can cause diseases. Third one is proteins. Proteins are also compounds containing carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, and organic acid with amino group. So these are also primarily found in food and garden waste. Partial decomposition results in the production of amines, which impart unpleasant odors. So partially only the amines gets decomposed, so there can be a very bad smell generated from the proteins, decomposition of proteins. Next is the natural fibers. Natural fibers are natural products containing cellulose and lignins that are relatively resistant to biodegradation. They are found in paper products, foods and yard waste. Highly combustible product, most suitable for incineration, and the calorifical value is in the range of 12,000 to 18,000 kilojoule. So the source of natural fibers is paper products, foods and yard waste. Next is the synthetic organic matters. Synthetic organic matters, plastic comprises of plastic about 1 to 10 percentage, highly resistant to biodegradation. Resistance to biodegradation, that is, plastic cannot be degraded easily. Plastic have high heating value about 32,000 kilojoule per kilogram, which makes it suitable for incineration. Among the plastic, polyvinyl chloride when burned produces dioxin. The trace gases produced during the burning of plastic are proved to be carcinogenic. So the burning synthetic organic material example you can take as plastic. Plastic have high heating value, and they can be burned in incineration. But the trace gases produced during the burning of plastic can lead to cancer. Then sixth characteristics, you can see it as heating values. An evaluation of the potential of the waste material for use as a fuel in the incinerator requires the determination of its heating value. It's also a chemical characteristics, knowing the heating value. It is expressed as kilojoule per kilogram. The heating value is determined experimentally using bomb calorimeter test. This bomb calorimeter, you have heard it earlier in your science classes. Bomb calorimeter, you can find out the heating value. It is a very important parameter in the incineration process, as knowing the energy value or heating value, it can be a means of energy recovery or disposal. So bomb calorimeter test is carried out at a constant temperature of 25 degrees Celsius in the combustion of a dry sample. Next is the ultimate analysis. Analysis of the waste carried out to determine the proportion of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur. The determination of halogens is often included in the ultimate analysis. Ash fraction is also analyzed as it contains toxic material residues such as cadmium, mercury, chromium, nickel, lead and zinc. The results of the ultimate analysis are used to characterize the solid waste composition of the organic matter. Chemical composition can be found out. Then it is used to define a proper mix of waste material to achieve suitable carbon nitrogen ratios for biological conversion process. So ultimate analysis means you can get the values of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen and sulfur of the waste, and through which we can carry out the analysis. Proximate analysis means evaluation of combustion properties of waste, ash, volatile substance and fixed carbon substance. Moisture loss at 105 degrees Celsius for 1 hour. Volatile matter, additional loss on ignition. Ash residue, fixed carbon. Fixed carbon is a carbon remaining on the surface as the charcoal. Fixed carbon is a carbon which remains on the surface as charcoal. A waste with a high fixed carbon requires longer detention time on the surface of the furnace to achieve complete combustion. Then the waste with a low fixed carbon load. High will always require longer period of time for detention, whereas low fixed carbon load achieves complete combustion. So next is the fusing point of ash. The temperature at which the ash resulting from the burning of waste will form a solid clinker by fusion and agglomeration. Typical fusing temperature for the formation of clinker from solid waste ranges from 2000 to 2200 degree Fahrenheit. So these are the chemical characteristics. Once again summarizing what are the chemical characteristics. The lipids, carbohydrates, proteins, natural fibers, synthetic organic matters, then heating values, ultimate analysis and proximate analysis are the chemical. Also the last one, fusing point of ash, are the chemical characteristics of a solid waste.